Good morning, everyone. Today we have second to the last peer mentoring session, the purpose of which is to help one another. And I'd like to request people to introduce yourselves because we have a guest here in our session today. May I ask Miss Karen to start, please, since you are the guest.
Hello, good morning, everyone. I'm Karen. I'm doing my PhD right now at the Western Sydney University at the Institute for Society and Culture. And I'm just sitting in Dr. Ray's class. Thank you very much for allowing me to learn through the process. I'm writing my thesis right now. I've done my empirical stage. I've done my review of literature and everything. It's my writing stage. My work is on identity politics. I'm doing the identity politics after the rise of China, 21st century Chineseness. And that's it. Thank you.
Okay, and I'll call on the others based on what I see on my screen. Hazel, please.
Hello, good morning, everyone. My name is Hazel. I'm also writing my dissertations on Korean educations. And now I'm based in Mesa. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Kathy, please.
Good morning, friends. My name is Kathy Chang. I am calling in this morning from the Philippines, and I am a first-year student in the PIAP Peace Building Program. So good morning, all.
Dr. Lee.
Good morning, everyone. I am Lee. I'm acting head of the Department of Peace Building here at PIAP University. So nice to see you all here. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Tony. Microphone, please.
Okay, got it. Hi, my name is Tony Waters, and I'm on the faculty with Dr. Lee and Dr. Ray and Dr. Mark, who's not here this morning. We work together as the faculty of the Peace Building PhD program, and I'm happy to listen in. I'm curious to hear what the students have to say.
Thank you. Eto.
Yes, good morning, agents, friends, and special guest. I'm Etu, and I'm joining from Yangon now. I'm a PhD candidate from this program, and I'm also writing my dissertation on peace building and urbanization. So nice to meet you all.
Thank you. Saya Daniel.
Sorry, I'm using somebody else Zoom, that's why.
Okay,
So, yeah, my name is Aumya So. I'm the first year student, and it's really a privilege that we meet our seniors here, and really respectful, and I will learn from you all how you produce your writing for your journal. And I think we will learn a lot. And thank you very much for Dr. Ray, who guided us through. And it will be really assistant for us to produce a good dissertation. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And I did not invite Motida to join the panel because we have so many people now. Next time we'll invite Motida, please. You're next.
Thank you, Dr. Ray. Yeah. I'm Mutira. I'm a third year student of PhD. I live in South now. So, thank you, and all. Yeah. Good morning, and thank you, and all. Yeah.
Thank you, Alma.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Alma. I'm in the Philippines, and this is my second year in PIAP.
Thank you. Mon Mon.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. Yeah, I'm very glad to see you all again. Yeah, I'm very excited to hearing from you too, and I will share with you as well. So, yeah.
Thank you. And last on my screen is Laize, please.
Good morning, friends. I'm Laize from Brazil. I am first year student here in this PhD program. And thank you very much, Dr. Ray. Thank you, friends, that you share today with us your knowledge. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So this morning, your peers will share to your peers your knowledge and your experience in publication. All of you are highly qualified in your professions. You've done publication in your previous life before coming to the doctoral program, but writing for academic publication is very different. And Mon will tell you how different it is from journalism, for example. As Mon is a journalist, but she can navigate two worlds. And many of the people here have published their journal articles when they were here for the first semester, like Hazel, for example. His first semester, he was able to have something published. And Alma and Nai, all their papers first semester were already published. So this is an inspiration to all of you to go out and publish. So we'll request each person to give about 20-minute discussion on the secrets, how they succeeded in getting published, and maybe some of the problems that they encounter in their publication. So I'll start off with Alma. She is going to be your moderator for today. Alma is an assistant professor of religion and peace studies at the Divinity School of Silliman University in the Philippines. It is the best university in Central Philippines. She has a TCI publication through NIDA. NIDA is the institution in Thailand with the most number of PhD holders, more than Chulalongkorn University, more than Thammasat, more than more than Payap. So it is a highly prestigious institution. She had her first semester paper for Dr. Lee published in their academic journal. And likewise, she had co-authored an academic conference paper for the United States. So let's welcome Alma to share with us her experiences in publication.
Good morning once again. Dr. Ray, you surprised me. I didn't know that I will be the moderator this morning. Anyway, what will I say? I messaged Dr. Ray and I told him that I discussed already last PMP, about how to write papers, and the first time. Then the second time, I discussed how to write papers with Dr. Tony and Dr. Mark, because the format or the structure of Dr. Tony's paper and Dr. Mark is the same, and it's a standard a kind of expository essay or a comprehensive essay. What would I say? I told Dr. Ray that I will no longer discuss a very long discussion, but I'll share with you my paper in cultural peace building, and it's a video because we presented it in Consortium for Global Education Research Institute 2021 conference last September 24 to 2021, and Dr. Ray was my co-author on this paper on indigenous peoples in Mindanao, since Dr. Ray had a lot of papers with indigenous peoples here in Mindanao. Oh no, in Mindanao, but this paper is in the Central Visayas. But Dr. Ray's paper concentrated more on Luzon and Mindanao. So this paper is on the Central Visayas. But before that, just some few tips, because Dr. Ray is asking some tips or on how to write papers. There's no such for me a kind of exact tips of what to write. Just write what you want to write. But you write with passion. And I think the very first thing that would come to mind, especially if we want this paper to be published, is that the paper must be something that we can contribute to the field, especially on the peace building, something new. Another one is originality is important, but not just originality, but something that we can say it's our own. It's not plagiarized. Okay. I think that's very important. It's not a duplication of any paper. Then if we will be writing, think about the structure, the format, as the basic for publication is the standard structure of the research paper or the research methodology, with the introduction, with you know what's the content of the introduction. At least we have the purpose, the research question, the rationale of the study. Then we have the review, then the result, and the conclusion. That's very basic in the paper. If we don't have like purpose of the study or at least a research question, we must have a thesis statement. That's very important for a paper, because the thesis statement would be the guiding, it's like the guiding path for our paper, on the direction of our paper. So that's it. Then I will show you the paper. No, not the paper, but our presentation last September 24. This is just 10-minute video.
Do I have to make you a co-host, or are you okay?
I could not find the video. Dr. Ray, can you share the video? Is it in your file, right? Sorry.
I don't know where it is.
Oh my goodness. It's open, but I could not find. When I say share screen, I could not see it in the screen. But the video is already open. Where is that? Right, I should have to open the file, right?
I believe so. It has to be open.
Then share screen, but I could not see it in the screen. Where is that?
Somebody, an expert, can give Alma advice.
Yeah, the video is already open. Oh my God.
Sometimes it happened to me as well, Elma. You try to share screen, and if you can't do that, you just close the window and then share it again. That I used to do.
Okay. Thank you. The difficulty in the technology. Mhm.
Warm greetings from the Philippines. This is Alma.
We can't see it.
I will share my download first so that you can see it. Okay, then it's here. Can you see the download?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I will just click
Yes.
like
Just
this.
you just need to click and run. Yeah.
Warm greetings from the Philippines.
Can you
This
hear?
is Alma Bibon.
We cannot see the video. We can hear.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What will I do?
More tips.
You can
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
you can
Can you-
see.
We can
Yeah,
see
we
the
can
screen,
see.
but not the video.
Elma, you just you know, don't share. You open, click on video first. You run the video first, then share screen again.
Oh, okay, okay.
That's
And we will be discussing indigenous peoples, conflict, and peace
We cannot
building, a
see.
case study of the ATAS of Central Philippines.
Can you share screen again?
Maybe minimize the other windows.
Yeah.
So when
Our
the windows
paper
open.
outlined into 5 sections.
We cannot see the video, Alman.
Yeah.
This paper deals with the following problem statement. There are social problems
Wait, I
which
see it.
indigenous
Oh.
people are facing. On the other hand, there are also theoretical problems as to how we should deal. Alma, we cannot see the video. In terms of the social problem, you want to stop it. First, colonizers.
Oh yeah, Elma started. Yeah, Elma coming. Okay.
So what will I do with this one? I'll share again.
No, run again. If you click on that video and then share it again. I don't know.
You click the video first and then
Yeah.
only then share.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you can see the screen now. You can
We are
see
seeing-
the PowerPoint.
No, we are seeing your screen now, but when you click on the video, we cannot see your your video. So click video and then run share screen
Warm
again.
greetings from the Philippines. This
Then share. You click
Share,
first in your screen and then you share, then we can see it. Otherwise,
Can
you
you-
see only your original one with
Yeah.
full of files.
Can you see your video, Alma?
Yeah, I can see it, but I could not wait. Oh my God, this is very difficult. Okay, I'll close this one. So I'll stop, then I'll finish.
is Alma Bibon Ruiz,
Warm greetings from Thailand. This is Ray T.
and we will be discussing indigenous peoples, conflict, and peace building, a case study of the ATAS of Central Philippines.
We cannot see it.
Can you see now?
Yeah.
Our paper outlined
Okay.
into 5.
Yay.
Yeah, it's good now. Thank you.
Yeah, good.
Warm greetings from the Philippines. This is Alma Bibon Ruiz,
Warm greetings from Thailand. This is Ray T.
and we will be discussing indigenous peoples, conflict, and peace building, a case study of the ATAS of Central Philippines. Our paper outlined into 5 sections.
Introduction. This paper deals with the following problem statement. There are social problems with which the indigenous people are facing. On the other hand, there are also theoretical problems as to how we should deal with conflicts. In terms of the social problem, there are two concerns. First, colonizers and settlers occupy the ancestral domain of the indigenous people. Secondly, there are also intra-ethnic conflicts that take place. In terms of theoretical problem, there is an issue regarding whether the law of the land or traditional customary laws should be applied when there are conflicts in order to reach peace building. So what is to be done? How do we deal with traditional law and governmental laws? This paper has three research questions. One, how do the Itas, the indigenous people, view conflict? Two, what are the peace-building strategies with both intra and ethnic and inter-ethnic conflicts? Three, what is the impact of their traditional practices in conflict resolution and peace building? And the purpose of this paper corresponds to the three research questions. This paper fills in the gap as there is a paucity of basic and applied research on the Itas, the indigenous people in Central Philippines. Literature review. This paper looks at the conflict between the indigenous people, the Ita, and the settlers on the one hand, and also the conflict among indigenous peoples, the intra-ethnic conflict. And this paper looks at two sets of literature. On the one hand, international norms are applied and become laws of the land in the Philippines, and these are used for conflict resolution. On the other hand, the indigenous people themselves have customary practices which are useful in settling conflict. So there appears to be a conflict of laws.
Methodology. This paper employs qualitative research design using the purposive sample technique of data collection. Specifically, the case centers on the specific indigenous peoples, the Itas of the Central Philippines. As an ethnographic study, the data gathering technique were framed within 4 months of limited participant observation from January to April of 2021. Aside from collecting data from the participants, we also relied on secondary sources such as public records. Free and prior consent of the community was respectfully sought and secured along with respect to the guidelines of the National Commission on Indigenous Peoples. As requested by the participants, their names remain to be anonymous in this paper. Next slide. Findings. This is one of the photos publicly uploaded in the YouTube, the Council of Elders of the Itas of Central Philippines. So we give credit to the owner of this video. Next slide. The research findings for research question number 1, how do the Itas view conflict? Based on observation, Itas are peace-loving people. They avoid conflict as much as possible. They view conflict as an inevitable part of human life, but at times they avoid conflict because it contributes annoying or contributes hassle to their daily life. The term is samuk. The conflict present are cross-cultural in nature. The intergenerational conflict persists with another indigenous group, which is Bukidnon. Land conflict or land disputes with the migrant settlers continue as they claim for the ancestral land as the original inhabitants of the land. Next slide. Research question number 2, the peace building strategies for inter and intra conflict. To this day, the Itas still practice having the traditional court of law where the Council of Elders act as judges. This kind of law is solely practiced by the indigenous peoples within the tribe, and this is outside the Philippine law. But this was recognized by the Philippine government. Say, for example, for committing unlawful acts such as theft, the Council of Elders metes out physical punishment such as hitting the hand of the person. Punishment such as hitting the hand is performed by one of the Council of Elders, but they made sure he or she is not kin of both conflicting parties to avoid conflict of interest. And in some cases, like stealing of water buffalo or physical injury or killing, monetary settlement is necessary. Next slide. Etas are also famous to their traditional dances. There is a ritual dance performed after the end of the conflict, which is a way to express victory, peace, and happiness. However, if the two parties would not come into peaceful agreement, another dance ritual is performed, which is an expression of injustice and hatred. However, as mentioned by the participants, the Christian missionaries have succeeded in their teachings not to engage in any form of killing. Next slide. For the inter-ethnic conflict, violation against the migrant settlers, the common conflict like not paying of debts, damage to property, gossip, adultery, and many others, they filed the complaint to the Peace and Order Committee of the village, which is under the rule of the Philippine local government. For land conflict, they usually arrive at amicable settlement at the local government level. And for killing, they go to district court and the case was dealt according to the existing laws imposed by the government. Next slide. For the research question number 3, the impact of peace building strategies. As observed, the resolution processes are culturally prescribed. The customary practices promote peacemaking community. So the incorporation of indigenous methods of conflict resolution contributes to peace, security, and harmonious relations among peoples in the region. The inter-ethnic conflict is settled through local government mechanism, and they do not see it as conflict with the traditional laws. That means both of the traditional laws and government-imposed laws coexist. That's it.
In conclusion, this paper dealt with 3 research questions. The first is, what is the ETA's view of conflict? First is they view conflict as part of life, but there are annoyances and they try to avoid it. Secondly, the peace building strategies are twofold. Firstly, they're using traditional methods when they enter into conflict with indigenous people, another group, or within their tribe to settle conflicts. On the other hand, they also resort to local laws if they deal with the settlers, people of another ethnicity. And thirdly, what is the impact of their peace building strategies? In general, they're able to resolve their conflicts through both traditional method and the local laws, depending on the situation and the different cases. So the recommendation of this paper is that the government should not only use the laws of the land for conflict settlement of the Itas, the indigenous people, but also recognize the pivotal role of traditional customs and practices in conflict resolution. And in conclusion, we can affirm that there is not only one solution for all types of conflict, because when indigenous people and settler cultures clash, then there should be different approaches in settling the conflict with respect to if the indigenous people enter into conflict among themselves. So in that case, they apply traditional methods were applicable and they're able to settle their conflicts. However, we are taking note by saying that we should not romanticize one formula over the other as a fixed universal remedy. Each type of law has its own usefulness. And we also would like to give a note of caution, as not all traditional practices are positive, such as physical punishment and revenge killing. Luckily, the missionaries were able to enter into dialogue with the indigenous people, and they have agreed to stop revenge killings. However, as of this writing, corporal punishment is still being used, so there will be perhaps more dialogue to be entered into with the indigenous people to seek ways by which to end physical punishment. For a full reference list, please refer to the full paper. Thank Thank you so much.
Thank you. That's our paper. It was presented last September 24 in Consortium for Global Education in the US. Thank you, Dr. Ray, for being the co-author.
Thank you, Alma.
So what's next? I think Nai will be the next. Is Nai is here?
No, she's not here. And Alwyn is not here. Hazel is here.
Okay. Okay, so would be the next.
Okay, thank you.
So,
Thank you very much, Emma.
Yeah, before Hazel starts, maybe I'll introduce Hazel. Although we know him as our friend, he's currently the Education and Livelihood Coordinator of the Karen Refugee Committee, the chair of the Refugee Affairs at Karen Peace Support Network, and a leading advocate for the Karen Student Network Group. Hazel is also one of the founding members of the Asia Pacific Network of Refugees. He has authored and co-authored several articles, among which are a Scopus article, co-authored with other people. So here is Hazel.
Thank you, Ajare. Good morning once again. Probably today just to share some of my experience in terms of publication. And I think my topic will suit more on to co-author in academic publications, because most of my article are like the co-author, not my single author. Of course, I do have one, but they are not really academic. So I actually prepare one slide. I don't know if I can share, just to show you the article that we published together. So, not sure if you can see my article, right?
We can see it, yes.
Thank you, Dr. Just to start with Dr. Tony words. I did remember probably in our earlier gathering over Pad Thai, and he used to say PhD program is more than what we learn and discuss in the class. It's also about academic socializations. And that's why probably because of this, we came up with article with other friends and colleagues having in contact with in different ways. Here is some of the article probably I did share to some of us already. I started my PhD in 2017. Then before that, I've been working with the refugee educations and as one of the refugee issues, and have assisted probably many master thesis and PhD thesis as well, people who are doing research in refugee camps. And I just remember I also wrote a non-academic journal in published in The Elder. I'm not sure if you are familiar with The Elder, who are those people are kind of like former president and UN official, including Desmond Tutu, Nelson Mandela, and they actually, I just Googled it and just found that some people quoted my paper actually, and it's titled Education in Exile. Probably you can find that. It's where I was in the camp running a college in refugee camp, and they just request me to write that. This just apart from the from that, I actually have not published any article even during my master's study as well. So because of that, I got in touch with some people do a research writing and and was able to connect with them. And initially they would come for interview, basically to me, on education, on refugee issue in Thai Myanmar border. And as I started my PhD, they also wanted me to write together with them as they realized I doing my advice study. So the first person is Sue Ann. Probably some of you familiar with her. She used to work in Thai Burma border for a long time when I was not here, and and she's now based in Singapore. And Melanie Walker, also a social worker and peace worker in Thailand and as well as in Burma. So during our encounter, we start sharing some of our interests, and they found out that I'm also interested in refugee issues, in IDP and education, especially refugee education. So we decided to write, to come out with an article. Actually, the first this is the first article we actually submitted. Actually, current education's boundary making in Thai Burmese borderland. But it was published much later. Probably it's a longer article. So out of that, they also requested a shorter article. So we came out with a shorter one and published in 2017, quite much earlier than the longer one, on contested sovereignty, education and schooling in ceasefire area of current state. So Sue Ann and Mel, I co-wrote 3 different articles on current educations, and of course one is more like has to do with education's politics, and the other one education's and of course to do with international relations concerning the refugees. And so out of 3, I think the current education's boundary making ones, probably people got the attention, and I do receive like weekly analysis from academia that most people, the paper that most people read is current education boundary making in Thai Burmese borderland. And and another article I co-wrote is with Sarah from South Korean. She's Australian, South Korean, and Trish from US. And that's what came much later, actually in 2020. And looked like this paper was not really a hard paper for us, because Sarah did her research in refugee camp. And the same thing, Trish also did her research in refugee camp. So, but both have kind of like different approach. Sarah is more like critical education, and Trish on development. So we decided to come out with a paper, and that's when I think probably this journal is Scopus and in business Korea. The other article is in German, which I don't read German, actually they translated, and I submitted my original. I thought they would publish that in English, but it is sorry, my stack screen.
Okay, so we'll be right back.
Sorry, this is when you read and at the same time had to be a babysitter. Okay, thank you. And this article was published as well in 2020, and it's not academic paper, but probably they want to translate the whole paper that I submitted as an academic paper, but it might take some time. I don't know. So the last one is probably I think I call this a perspective article that we came out with Trish again on the current situations, and probably you heard about the fighting a few months ago in the current state, and there are a lot of people being displaced and forced to cross into Thailand. So we decided to come out with an article trying to give messages to international community, especially Thailand, to receive refugee when they cross to Thailand. So we have to say thank you to Dr. Tony as well for giving us the input and guide us for this article. So this all I have probably during my PhD study, and I was not the leading article. That's why I'm still learning as to run an article as a single author. And I mean, something that I learned out of those articles is that I think we do have the same interest in publishing the article, even from different background, but we can always team up and then bring in an idea how should we sort of breaching of our agreement and internal theory. So I do mostly provide the inputs because I work at the ground in the field, and so I have a lot of informations. I'm not good at academic writing. I don't have any good academic writing second author yet, and I'm still trying. And of course, I did submit that my single article a few months ago, but it was rejected. It was not qualified. So I probably stored that for some time, and then now I'm trying to revise the same article as well with the help from Dr. Tony. So all of those articles that I learned from here, I think as I learned, we all come from different backgrounds. Probably we might have different ideas, and we might have different issues. But I think we can always relate to what we are doing, and also the work of our friends, and co-write together or write together, come out with the publications. And I initially I don't have any knowledge, probably very limited knowledge about academic publications, and of course in the class the agents give a lot of informations and journals where we should publish, what type of journal suit for us, and of course depend on us to choose any journal depend on the issues required. And I think I don't initially know those kind of journal, and I have never in contact with them. And most of the academic writings are done by my colleague. And like I say, I can only give them inputs, my comment, and to make sure that information are accurate, and help them to clarify some of the clarifications that come from the journal, the editors. I think the only I mean, just to share the challenge, the only paper that is took me longer out of the other is the current education boundary making. It's a bit longer, and a lot of clarifications as questions from the editor. Okay, setting our article to and fro. Mostly has to do with clarifications and information accuracy, which has to do with my part, because I stay here and then I have to make a lot of comment and setting the answers back and forth. So this is, I mean, for me, I find that it's a learning journey, and I feel very motivated when I see our article be published. but I also feel challenged that I still have to learn more to be more independent researchers and trying to read more and learn other methodology and somehow I feel like probably I can do it alone. Maybe I need to learn to be more independent in terms of my thinking process, in terms of my my learning process. So this is just something. Probably if you have other questions, I will trying to respond. And thank you very much, Dr. for giving me the opportunity. And over to you.
Thank you, Haiso. We can proceed to Monmon. Then after Monmon, is there an Nai is not here and Alwin is not here. Okay, so after Monmon, if we have some questions or even interaction, after Monmon we have Eto. Yeah. So after all the speakers, then we can interact, or maybe we can ask the adjuncts to share. Okay, so I will introduce Monmon. Monmon Miat is an independent writer and journalist. She holds an MA in journalism from the Philippines and has written several news items for different international news agencies. Her Scopus article is last 2019, is Politics of Aung San Suu Kyi's Vocation in Palgrave Communication. We're very lucky because Dr. Tony introduced her paper to us in our class last year. So we were able to read the paper. And I think this year in Miss Kathy and Miss Lais's class. So yeah, Monmon, it's your turn.
Hi, thank you for introducing me, Elma, and then I'm very happy to meet all of you again and again. So I hope to see you again and again and again soon, next month, I think, my class is next month. So first of all, I would like to say thanks to Dr. Tony, because, you know, my one and only academic article, one and only article published in an academic journal, mainly because of Ajahn Tony's pressure, let's say, forced me to write. And we used to have coffee together and discuss lots of things. And he shared about Max Weber, and we share about Burma issue, Burmanization and Aung San Suu Kyi. So we used to exchange, you know, our experience, our background, and, you know, interesting topic. And then Ajahn Tony introduced about Max Weber at the coffee shop. I remember at first, together with Ajahn Dagmar, and a coffee shop downstairs of the Payab University. Yeah, we remember very, very clearly. So that's how I fall in love with Max Weber through Ajahn Tony. And also I time to time I write some articles for the Ayawadi magazine that I used to write. So I've been as a journalist since 2004. So it's you know, writing in a journalistic style. It's kind of like I already familiar, and it's kind of my profession as a journalist. And it's totally different when I study PhD and writing kind of academic article. Totally different. So that's what I want to share. You know, let me share my screen, because I don't prepare a PowerPoint, but I just prepare to show some of my article in English and also academic journal, so that you can see it, how it different. Okay. Can you see the screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, this is the, you know, if you look at this website, the EAOD magazine that I used to write for many years. And I have several articles I have written on that magazine. But, you know, mainly for the journalistic writing, because I just want to compare the journalistic writing and academic writing a little bit, because for the journalistic writing, we have to mainly base on newsy things, current issue. So we just need to talk about current issue, the article related current issue. Otherwise, they are not interested to publish. So always have to find the newsy things to write for the news magazine. So that's the main point of the journalistic writing. So there are several articles I write. If you look at that, you know, all are, you know, based on the current issue. And it's quite difficult to go back to the history, quite difficult to go back to the, the philosophy, you know, it's quite difficult. So I mainly write based on news, but when I study PhD, I have some thinking that, you know, I should refer to some kind of philosophy, political philosophy, some kind of political issue in the past, in history. So that's how I got idea. And when I write something, then I always talk to Ajahn Tony. This is the idea I want to write for the EAOD. So he tried to suggest me, you know, when I structure the story article, he always helped me to, you know, some issues I should think or something like that. So for that, the particular article I wrote for the Belgrade communication, actually it came first at an article on the EAOD. Let me check this one. This is the article I wrote first. That was published in 31st January 2018. So if you look at this article in news magazines, and you know, you will see that the first thing you have to be very careful is the limit. The word limit. And I only can write maximum word limit like between 1,200 words to 2,000. That's a maximum. More than 2,000, they won't accept me, because the thing is, if I write very long, and that they think it cannot attract the readers, because kind of news magazine, they want to read news and, you know, finish. That's it. And they don't want to, the reader didn't expect to read more than 1,000 or 1,500 words. It's, you know, that's normal. So that is why within that word limit, I cannot write many things. I just need to focus on what I'm going to talk about, what I'm going to write for this article. So if you look at this article, I just, you know, want to introduce the audience about the Max Weber's philosophy that is still applicable to today, the Aung San Suu Kyi situation. That's the message I want to give in my article. So that is why I have to quickly put introduce Max Weber in the first introduction of this article. So like the term like Max Weber terms like voluntary politician and of Aung San Suu Kyi, and also the life of Aung San Suu Kyi as an activist and Aung San Suu Kyi as a stateswoman. So these are the three different life of Aung San Suu Kyi, being as a voluntary politician, then being as an activist in the eyes of Western community, and then being as a stateswoman. So she has three different lives in one particular, human being. So that's what I like to talk about in the journalistic article. But Ajahn Tony, after he read this article, Ajahn Tony suggested me to write for the academic journal. So that's he gave idea about you should write this to the academic journal, because this is very much this will be interested by the international community, and that will open the eyes of the international readers about the point of view of the local people, to tell the world what is Aung San Suu Kyi's situation, what she is facing right now. So that's, make me very interesting to write for the academic journal. But it took me 1 year to publish that article in Power Grade Communication. If you look at this article here, can you see it there? This one is published in 14 May 2019. So it took me 1 year. And then when I sent the draft article to that academic journal, actually at first I was rejected. I was rejected because it's not, it didn't make their interest first. Maybe because of my writing style, or maybe, because of my language skill, I don't know. But after second time, Ajahn Tony also suggests them, this kind of article should be, reconsider for the publication. So they reconsider and they asked me to write it again. So, it is kind of a very good experience for me to write for the academic journal. But what the main challenge for me to write for the academic journal is structure. The structure. They have kind of structure. It's quite different from the journalistic writing. We don't need to, the structure in journal, news magazine, and structure in academic journal is very different. Different because, I think audience are different. For the news magazine, their audience is kind of general public. And then we have to be very careful in the writing style to be very simple, to make general public understand. We cannot write very academic language. We have to rewrite. If I use some kind of academic term like voluntary politician, then I have to explain what does it mean? What does voluntary politician mean? So we are not allowed to use academic terms in the journalistic article, because their target is general public. But for the academic journal, their target is mainly academic community. So that's the main difference between the journalist and academic. And as I have been writing for more than a decade as a journalist, and I cannot just change my writing style. And also it's quite big challenge when I write 10 paper for the first year PIAP University IRCP. Then when I wrote 10 paper, I submitted to Ajahn Lee. I got back with many feedbacks, many red line, and I remember Ajahn Lee's comment on my first 10 paper. She said, "Your writing is very journalistic style. You have to change. You have to rewrite it." So I have to rewrite again and again. So that's that's a kind of practice for me to get to familiar with academic writing style. So that's, we have two different audience, and that is why we have to write in different style. And another thing is academic writing style thing is you have more responsibility. I mean, whatever you write should have reference. You cannot just write what you think. You cannot just write your emotion. You cannot just write a news appear on the paper or magazines or newspaper. You have to have reference. That's very much responsibility for what you write, what you say, or what you make a statement. You have to have reference. So that's very much, you know, very heavy responsibility for an academic. And another thing is the format of the academic writing style. You know, what you want to write in which format, you know, this academic journal you are going to write. Like Power Grade Communication, they have their own format. If you write for another journal, they might ask you to write in APA style, so it's reference style. So these are also, as a journalist, we never experience that because we don't need to write a reference. So let me check, let me show you one thing again. In the journalist article, you don't need any reference down there. And even if I write, they take it out. We don't need a reference. And only we have to give reference, like if we refer to some articles, we just need to put the link like this. Let me show you. Where is the link? Oh, here. If I refer to the interview from Nikkei Asian Review, then I need to put the link here. The interview, this red line. Yeah, only hyperlink. You don't need any reference. I mean, only the hyperlink that I refer to. But for the academic journal, whether we put note, footnote, or whether we put in bibliography, we all need reference. And we can also use quotation from, you know, different books and different interview, but we need to quote it properly. So if you look at this academic article I wrote, I would like to tell you about the structure, yeah, for the academic journal. Because I am going to talk about, going to make an argument about Aung San Suu Kyi, whether she is a politician or activist, whether politics is her vocation. I have to make my argument stronger. So that is why the structure I have to do, it's have to be related to my argument. So if you look at this, you see only a few headlines in the, you know, structure. Let's say, apart from abstract and conclusion, you see introduction, activism as vocation, politics as vocation, and conclusion. So these are the headline for the article. But I have to have kind of sub-headline to make arguments. Why it's the activism as a vocation, or why it's a politics of vocation. These are the main arguments I'm going to write for the article. So that is why I have to structure very carefully about the academic journal. And for the introduction, I need to introduce Aung San Suu Kyi, what kind of person she is, to the audience, especially to the academic audience about Aung San Suu Kyi. So that is why in the introduction, I introduce the audience about Aung San Suu Kyi in two different kinds as a responsible Myanmar politician. And second one is Western icon activist. These are how I try to structure how people from outside see her and how people from the country see her. That's how I want to introduce to my audience. So this introduction is kind of the person or the topic we're going to introduce to the audience. So for the introduction, we have to put it together. What are we going to write about? What are we going to talk about? Who are we going to introduce? So this is important for the introduction, for the academic journal. And I don't need to do it in the news magazine because as a news, Aung San Suu Kyi is well known internationally and locally. So I don't need to talk about Aung San Suu Kyi. I don't need to introduce a lot about Aung San Suu Kyi. But for the academic audience, I need to introduce what kind of person of Aung San Suu Kyi and her political background, her, how people see her from local people, from outside. So these are the things, and we should put in the introduction. And for the other parts, which is mainly related to the arguments, what I'm going to make. So I'm going to make argument, not based on opinion, but based on Max Weber's theory as politics as vocation. So that is why from what I read, the essay of Max Weber, I have to take out the arguments from that theory. So in that Max Weber essay, I think you all already read Max Weber essays. I want to mainly argue about his theory, and he's talking about ethical responsibility and ethical moral conviction. So these two Max Weber's theories, it's very much related to Aung San Suu Kyi's life and Aung San Suu Kyi's being as a politician. So that is the main theory or main argument I use from Max Weber essay. So that make my argument stronger. I try to use this Max Weber saying, and then the real situation Aung San Suu Kyi is facing. So if you look at activism as vocation, I also have to introduce or explain my reader what Max Weber's talk about activism as vocation and what Aung San Suu Kyi activism is. So that's the things I need to explain very well to make my argument stronger. So in here, you will see activism and moral convictions, what Max Weber talked about. Activism and responsibility, what Aung San Suu Kyi is taking. So these are the comparison between what Max Weber says and what Aung San Suu Kyi is facing. These are the two things I have to put it in my essay or my article. And also I have to talk about vocation, politics as vocation that Max Weber talked about, and how Aung San Suu Kyi used that as vocation, politics of vocation in her life. So that is also trying to make the argument stronger using the Max Weber theory from 100 years ago that is applicable until today. You know what I mean? So that's quite difficult for me, because Max Weber didn't know Aung San Suu Kyi from 100 years ago, and she didn't write this essay intentionally for Aung San Suu Kyi. But the situation is kind of very much related to Aung San Suu Kyi, that what she is facing today. So that is kind of the main theme of my article. So I try to match two things together, which happened 100 years ago and today. So that is the big challenge, but interesting for me, because this is the article I want to tell the world, the audience, that Max Weber also talk about this 100 years ago, but Aung San Suu Kyi is facing this ethical dilemma today, like what Max Weber said 100 years ago. So that is a kind of the theory we should reconsider when we look at Aung San Suu Kyi. That's a message I want to give the international audience, so academic. What they are going to write about Aung San Suu Kyi, they should also think about that. And the ethical dilemma she's facing and the real situation she is getting into. So these are the things I try to structure my articles. And to get that published, I have to go back and forth many times, not only with the Power Grade communication between Ajahn Tony and I, because after I write it, I send it to Ajahn Tony and he read it, and then he sent me back with the very red line comment, so I have to write it again and again. So I think between me and Ajahn Tony, we have to back and forth for more than 3 times. I mean, maybe more, I don't know. But after that, I have to go back to the academic journal. So it is kind of the first experience for me to publish academic article, and also it is learning process how I can write, the writing technique for the academic journal. So I learned a lot from this process to write for the academic journal. After that, it's very easy for me to write for the academic journal. I mean, just format, not for arguments or thinking, but I learned a lot about the formatting for the academic journal. But I'm still very much struggling to write for academic journal, because that is kind of very long thinking process, how to make arguments strong, how to structure the stories article. It's still challenging for me, because to write for the academic journal it's not an easy job. You must read a lot. You must find different sources, different theory, different arguments to structure your article. And also, I am, very much interested in discourse analysis rather than data analysis. You know what I mean? I mean qualitative method rather than quantitative method. So it's also you need more time to read books and different sources. So it's also very challenging to write using qualitative methods. So that's briefly about how I struggle for the publishing in academic journal. But I rather want to answer your question. I mean, this is enough for right now, and I will answer all your questions if you want. Yeah, that's it for now. Thank you. Thanks for your attention.
Thank you, Ms. Monmon. Yeah, if we have a question, probably later on, we can have some good interactions with the speakers later on. So we have Eto as next. I will introduce you first. So yeah. So Eto is trained in theology and anthropology. He has been working as an educator from 2008 to 2013 at the local institute in Myanmar. In addition, he serves as the director at Hola Foundation, a local peace foundation in Myanmar. His organization is actively working in post-conflict areas, and Eto's paper in a book of collected essays will be published in Germany very soon, I think in Bloomsbury Press. So we're looking forward for the publication, Eto. Yeah, it's your turn. Thank you.
Thank you, Elma. Let me share my screen. I'm sorry that I cannot turn on my video because of the connection problem here in Yangon. So let me turn off my video picture and talk only with audio. So I just prepare a few slides to share academic publication experience. So yes, for me in my life, academically, I have only produced 3. One is with as a co-author, and the other 2 is with the publisher. So the first one is Small-Scale Fishermen in Rakhine State, Independent Journal of Burmese Studies, and led by James Scott. James Scott, who wrote about the art of not being governed from that journals. The second one is the Fracture Center. I was just a co-author. I just interview, take notes, write the interview report, and some analysis. So for the academic writing, Ada Tomon, she led that paper. So the last one, as Alma mentions, ethnic and religious diversity in Myanmar. That is the book chapter that I wrote in last semester, and now it is in publication process. So I do not have much to talk about publication, as I also am a learner, and I'm still trying to improve myself in different area of publication. So this is the picture that I want to show, that writing academic paper, it is not easy for me. If I'm living in normal life, when I meet with the academic journal, my heartbeat is going up and down, sometimes fast, sometimes slow. So I think if I devoted myself to write in the academic field, I might have a cardiac problem in future. So anyway, this is the experience that I wanted to show. So challenges, most of our colleges talked about academic experience and how they write. I think this is really good. And for me, I think I also have another different story, because I was trained as a anthropologist in Myanmar University, and most of the books that we read are classes books, and the writing stance is in Burmese. So we have lost our academic standards comparing to the world. So these things are challenges. So physically, mentally, and spiritually, I want to mention here. Physically, we have a capacities and skills to meet different journal article standards. So especially format and writing styles, and also the way we want to present our journals. So for me, I learned a lot from different scholars, such as Ajahn Tony, Ajahn Lee, Ajahn Ray, Ajahn Marx. So I learned that their writing also has different style and different presentation. So this is what I learned from them. And I think sometimes I confuse that which one is the best to use and which one is, how to apply, no? Which one. So when I submit my paper to the journals, they also talk that, oh, your writing style is more something like anthropology style. So for this paper, it's not suitable to this style or something like that. It comes back. And sometimes in terms of jargons and some academic terms, so sometimes we confuse which one is academic and which one is, journalist, or which one is what. Sometimes we confuse. The editor or the reviewer, they come back with loads of questions and comments that make you to suicide yourself. No? You don't want to live anymore because of their comments. So this is a kind of physical or physical struggling. And also time livelihood also one of the stressful things, because we are not young enough. We are working with the communities, and we have work. And I think also the area that we are staying. When I was in Mekong Payap campus, I can devote it fully to my writing or academic reading. But when I left that campus, everything has changed. No? But when I submit my papers to the journal, when it comes back, I always check my mail. I afraid that they will come back soon. Huh? I pray that it will not come back soon. But whenever it comes back, I feel that it boom, on my head. No? So because you have to find more sources to fill out their comments, to answer. And when you answer this, you need to take times to read something. But anyway, Agent Tony helped me a lot with all these things. Huh? He shared my burden. And the context, when I write this, when the COVID-19 spread in Myanmar, and also we are a little bit depressed. At the time, it comes back to the question, and you cannot cope with the situation. The second one is mental. I think in academic, we need encouragement to achieve our goal. That is why I learned from NUS, National University of Singapore. When I was there, they keep one mentor for us. So in office hour, we can call that mentor anytime and we can discuss. So that mentor is professor level, and they always encourage to support us. Whenever we ask, they don't feel that, oh, you even don't know that. No, they don't say like that. Oh, they guide you and they show you this is the way you can approach, this is the way, blah, blah, blah. And I think that is mental support is, I think, quite important to achieve our goal. I think it is not only PhD, but also master or other students also need that support. I think Paya should have that center. So at least students will continue their program successfully. So the last one is spiritual. I think the spiritual is the biggest foundation to success our writing, our goals, because sometimes when I write that one, and when it comes back with many comments, I feel that if I don't continue to write it, nothing happens. You come back with many questions, and all the time you criticize me a lot, and something like that. But later we have to keep our spirits alive and to keep on going. Oh, our vision is to finish this one, so we have to do that. So I think spiritual also important, and like a self-denial process. I did a lot of procrastination. I think Agent Tony knows a lot. I almost sent something, but I cannot deny my procrastination. But the things is, I think the nature of writing is different. Sometimes I look at Agent Lee, who always encourage me to give time and to program yourself to write, as a commitment. But for me, I try to do that, but I cannot do like that. Sometimes I can finish my writing within 3 days or 4 days. But sometimes I sit on my computer and laptop, but I cannot produce even one word. So that is the problem. And then it doesn't mean I don't blame myself. I blame myself, but that is also another procrastination. So we have to conquer with spiritual power. Now we have to pray, we have to concentrate, we have to do that, and we have to look at our professor face. It appears in front of us, and maybe we don't want to let them down, or we feel like that. So I think self-denial is also very important sometimes. And another challenge is when we when I read something, for example, I generally give me some comments and you should study more this one. Then when I take that word, I am deviate from the main work and I follow that one and I read more and more. And in the book, there are more, references. So it is endless, no? It is endless. That is why Ajahn Tony always encourage me. Your work is to finish in 25 years, not in 1 and 2 years. So your thing is to finish within a year. Then you can continue the next 25 years. And I understand that next 25 years, he doesn't need to carry me, no? So he will ask me, you go by yourself, no? That is your own destination. But within his care, I think I have to finish some work that he assigned me. So I think these physical, mental, spiritual are very important because sometimes we lost on the way, what we want to do. So that is why I found many people who have not finished their PhD. So these challenges, yeah, this is a book chapter that I have wrote for Bloomsbury, and I think I have written for 2 years, but until now I only see the table of contents in the publisher house. So this is about my writings, and but to be honest, I don't want to read it anymore. I read a lot with comments. Also, I hate this paper, this chapter very much. Maybe I will read other chapters. So yeah. So the most important things is, I think, endurance and focus. Endurance and focus, skill capacities, and other things follow slowly. So this is my brief experience. I do not have more than that one. Thank you very much for having me here to share.
Thank you, Ethel. It reminds me, endurance and focus. Take note of that, colleagues. Okay, so can we ask Miss Tida, are you here? Do you want to share your publication experience informally, though you are not assigned as peer mentor today, but you can if you want, or we can set aside another date to listen to you. Do you want to share your publication experience?
Thank you, Dadari and Elma, for offering me this session because it is urgently offered to me, but I am not ready to prepare yet. But as much as I can present. No? Mm-hmm. So my publication is depends on is related to my Master of Business Administration. This is the one criteria for publish the academic paper. So I am writing my article. So my my advisor is Dr. Tony to write this article because of my MBA thesis paper. The main advisor is Ajahn Sumbung, and then Dr. Tony is a co-advisor for me. Thank you for Ajahn Tony to pushing me this publication for the article. So before writing this my publication, so I don't have no experience with the writing the academic article for the publication. So the publication is my first time to publish in the academic journal. So my publication, can I share my screen?
Yes.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. First, my first publication is Hue University Journal of Science, and then second, my publication is in Myanmar Economic Association in economics paper. This is published by Myanmar Economic Association in Myanmar. So yeah, so Hui University Journal, I published, I forgot that. When I publish, I have to find out. Where am I? Sorry, on my screen. Wait. Okay. Oh, yeah, I published my paper in 2019. Yeah, this is my paper title, Labor Market in Mesol, 1990-2017, and Thailand's New Special Economic Zone Policy. So the paper I focused on Mesol. Mesol is a Thai-Burma border in Thailand side. And the focus area is the Mesol Special Economic Zone, the migrant labor. So migrant labor came from Myanmar because of Myanmar economic situation, political situation. So that's why the people immigrate to Myanmar to Thailand. Because of Thailand, Burma is very close, the border area. Mesol and Miao is they cross the bridge, and then other illegal entrance. So that's why the people who suffer the poverty, so they have to come here for the finding a job. So some of them are illegal, some of them are they have a work permit. But at the time, when I'm writing 1990 to 2007, at the time, so the people, most of them are illegal workers. Because of in here, Mesol factory, they hire the illegal worker is because of cheap labor. So the paper is, I use the theory is push-pull theory. So after I use this theory, and then after that I found out, so my paper found out is Mesol is export-led growth area. This is a part of the Thailand's economy to cheap and skilled labor, hiring cheap and skilled labor. So I found out the main problem is the government, two of the government cannot control the migration because of it is a situation of the border. So in here, in Mesol, my special economy zone, migrant labor was supported for the development of Mesol economy, so related to the Thailand's economy. So that's why labor intensive industries is interesting to establish in Mesol area. So and then the labor intensive industry could be increasing. So because of migrant labor as a new generation of labor market. So due to the economic and political situation, so we cannot control this labor migration. Because of the Myanmar political and economic situation, the Thailand labor market will be the long remaining is an attractive. So this is my finding. So yeah, so this is a surprise to Dr. Ray told me to present this my publication. So that's why, so I didn't prepare yet as much as I can prepare, but the challenges is a formatting for me because of as you know, I'm very freestyle writing. I cannot follow the formatting. So that's why when I submit the paper to Hui University, so back and forth, maybe many times, I think almost 10 months, because I hate the formatting. They told me that format again. So, and then after that, the academic paper is when I use theory and then how to apply theory, something like that. This is a first time experiences. So that's why I told to Achantoni, I hate the formatting. Achantoni encouraged me to always you should revise. I revise and submit to the Hui University. Hui University editing and reading something like that. They send back to me, and then I have a time 2 to 3 months 2 to 3 months delay, and then Ajahn Tony, I asked Ajahn Tony encouraged me again, and then I'm writing, I am revising again, and then that's why my paper is almost maybe 11 months as much as I can. Yeah, so this is my challenges for the academic writing formatting style. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Dida. Yeah, it's very inspiring morning for me. Learning from all of us, from Hazel. I think no worries if we are co-authored of an article or a book or a journal. You know, when I presented my paper in NIDA, I found out when I received the program or the invitation, I found out that in my group, I belong to group 10 because there are 10 topics. My topic is under social development. I found out that in our group who will present the paper, I'm the only single author in the paper. Most of them are co-authored, or all of them except me. Then I remember, as far as my memory is like giving me the idea right now, it reminds me of the facilitator in that or the convener in that group. He said that most research institute or research center here in Asia or even in the US are now looking for co-authored academic article. So yeah, it's a way probably of like encouraging people to do co-authored work. So I just realized that, oh my God, I'm the the lone author of this. But I feel I was lucky that time in NIDA because I'm also a facilitator in that group who has a presenter on that group who has no PhD attached on my name. Most of them in the group, yeah, they have PhD attached, ADD attached to their name. So yeah, I feel like, oh my God, I'm not yet a PhD holder, but yeah. So just continue with our work, co-authored or single author. Yeah. Then for Monmon, yeah, it's refreshing to you open us up to a news writing or a magazine article writing versus academic article writing. It's very interesting. My question is like for the Ajahn Ray, Ajahn Tony, like in our research, like formal academic writing, can we use a news magazine article as our reference like that? Like if we want to use or if we want to quote Monmon's work in a news magazine, can we use that in our academic art writing? Yeah, that's my question. And Eto's work is also refreshing, presenting to us, assessing ourselves of the challenges. Yeah, remember the endurance and the focus. And Miss Dida, I know your field is in business, but yeah, it's really difficult to structure paper, right? So we need to go back again and again with our adjuncts, our professors to help us. Doc, we still have 15 minutes before the time. And so Ajahn Ray probably has something to share for all of us.
Okay, yeah. Ajahn Tony had already responded to the question about whether we could use popular sources instead of academic sources, but I also make an addition. In general, we should try as much as possible to use academic sources. For instance, if I want to study labor migration, if I want to study migrant workers, if I want to study refugees, definitely there are articles which are academic journals. So as Mon stated, so that we have some lessons we can get. If you are studying migrant labor for a long time, you must rely on academic journals. But if you're looking at what's happening today, then you have to look at popular sources. However, what is popular today, this month, this week, it's not necessarily a topic for dissertation, right? But if you want to establish the trend, long-term trend, yes, you can continue and say, due to lack of academic sources in the present, I want to establish 30 years trend, then by all means, you should use popular sources for lack of academic sources. For instance, when Payap asked me to write about the Rohingya, much to the opposition of Mon Mon, I gave a presentation here. There was no academic source. It was totally new. So I prepared a presentation based on popular sources: Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch, US Department of State, Annual Human Rights Report, the Netherlands government human rights reports, and so on and so forth. And after I gave the presentation, then I was asked to write a Scopus paper on Rohingya. I said, yeah, I have the data available. I just don't have it written. It is in PowerPoint form. So I wrote in the my methodology. I said, this is a novel topic. There's no paper on the Rohingya. I searched high and low. So that was my explanation, because it is a hot issue, but the academic world wants something on Rohingya. Then they accepted my paper. In fact, they asked for it. Now I see that my paper is quoted left and right everywhere. Academic sources, because there are ways by which you can track if people are citing your publication, different ways. So that's the long answer of it. Then I would like to give some lessons maybe from today's presentation. First, try as much as possible, all of you, to publish in an academic journal, first and foremost. And you must be the first author, as a minimum, one. And Alma is right. Don't worry about co-publishing. When I studied at the University of California, Berkeley, I was doing the nuclear arms development program of China. No professor could help me because they were experts in military arms in Stanford, and we were sister universities. I could seek the advice of a professor at Stanford, and there's a free shuttle service. Lo and behold, he only knew conventional arms development. I was helping myself, and professors wanted to co-author with me. That was my first taste of co-authorship. And I also learned from all of my friends at Berkeley, physics, chemistry, engineering, math. Professors co-author with them. It's normal, especially if they see potential in you or you work in a research project with them. That's normal, very normal. The same at when I went to Chicago, I co-authored left and right with my professors. And later I co-authored with my students and my peers. So I have tons of publications which are co-authored. And since Alma was my student, I said, this is a wonderful topic. I'm a Filipino. I do indigenous peoples research. And then I said, can we co-author? Then I interrogated Alma. Oh, what is your theory? Why is it there? And I threw away a lot of stuff. I put in stuff. We really worked back and forth together with a Zoom meeting. I say, are you sure Burton is the right theory? And then we have to dump it and so on. So we worked really closely together. And then we check with each other's ways by which the paper will be presented. I cleaned it up. So one, she was a co-author. It's fine. You can collect, and you must collect as an academic, especially if you're a PhD, academic publications. So first author, second author, doesn't matter. And then secondly, in conference proceedings. Again, primary is one, you must have a single author academic journal publication while you are doing your PhD. The time takes when you start with your PhD. Okay. Second, don't worry about having a lot of publications and co-authors. So academic conference proceedings are another way of doing it. And then your class papers, don't put them to waste. Alma's first semester class paper, Dr. Tony saw it's nice. She will co-author with Ajahn Tony. And then I saw her paper, it is wonderful, and we co-authored. And Dr. Lee saw Alma's paper for Dr. Lee's class in religion. It was wonderful. It's published now in NIDA, a journal, single author. And then her paper with me is already published now in the US. Her paper with Ajahn Tony depends on Ajahn Tony's time and energy and endurance. And what's Eto's word? Focus. If Ajahn Tony will put focus on Alma's paper, it will be co-published later in journal art. Same with Nai. Her paper with me, I said, this is wonderful. Send it here and there and have it published. She sent it. And then I pushed her, did you finish a paper with Dr. Lee? Send it here. And she has, one is already accepted for publication in Scopus journal, and then the other one's already published in the conference proceeding. First semester, just like Hazel, first semester, she already had things out. And the only way to publish is to write and publish, right? No other way, no other way. And as you all learned, each journal has its own rules. You have to follow their rules. Each journal has a format, you have to follow their format. In my culture class, I only demanded 6 pages max for Alma and Nai, and they remembered, like Dr. Ray will not read page 7, even if it's one word. That was my training in the US. My professors say, no, not a single word, I would not look. And some journals, some conference proceedings ask for 6 pages. So I trained them to write 6 pages max. And they did. And you have to self-edit and be as simple, as elegant, as parsimonious as possible. As my professors tell me, and I always use, throw away garbage. That was what my advisor told me. Focus, focus, focus. Don't throw everything in. Okay, and you need to have patience, endurance, as Etu say, you have to keep on revising, revising, and revising. So, and even Ajahn Tony had, worked with many students, and we heard the story of Mon with Ajahn Tony helping because she's working on Weber, and then Dr. Lee had helped Alma and Nai for publication because we saw, they saw their potential and great quality, and Dr. Lee might co-author also with Mateas. They're working together, and I have assisted Alma and Nai. They're already published first semester. So we are pushing you for your own good. You are required to publish. Okay, now, so, and just publish, just publish like you're breathing air. Okay, that will be the day you feel like you've made it as an academic. So these are some things I hope you will remember from today's session. So maybe Alma would want others to ask questions from other people as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ray. Dr. Tony, do you want to say a final note before we go? We have 5 minutes.
One quick one. I have a bunch of notes on me here. Number one, I do go with A2 with endurance and focus. Academic writing, you get reviewed and reviewed and reviewed. There's always a lot of red ink. It's nothing personal. We all get it. It makes for better writing in the long run. Sometimes you get tired and like A2 said, you want to quit and don't want to put up with these crazy people. Just do it. What can I say? They have the power. You don't. But that gets towards the end. So endurance and focus. For Ajahn Ray and I and Ajahn Lee, I want to emphasize also, we can talk to you about your paper and your ideas, and we're always happy to, but to do real critique, you have to write something and bring it to us. I know that Ajahn Ray makes this speech over and over and over again. It's really true. You can only progress when you get something to us in writing. I made the one comment where Etu was talking about staring at the computer screen for an hour and not typing a single word. It happens, right? I usually don't stare at I go web surf. It's a waste of time, but it happens, right? You have to have endurance. And sometimes you do get that, he called it, what do you call it? It was up there, procrastination. That's the nasty word for it. The intellectual one is I have writer's block. It sounds more intellectual, but it's the same thing. And every writer gets it, okay? So don't feel like you're unusual. You want to tell me about it? I have writer's block. I'll say, I know, let's have a conversation. Maybe we can get past that. Sometimes the writer's block comes because you've been writing too much and you just get stuck. That's when a talk hurts, but it comes after the writing. What Ajahn Ray and I keep telling you, we need something to react to. Anything, even if you know it's not your best, we can help you get over that writer's block. Say, this is what I've been working on. I know this is not good. There's too much clutter in here. Can you help me? Yes, we can, if there's something in writing. So just email us that thing you've written. Something Mon said earlier. Where did she go? She took off. Mon talked about, actually, I can, since she's not here, I can tell you the truth. She's also one of my editors because I've learned about writing for the Irrawaddy from her. She's actually my first editor when I write for news stuff. The thing about the Irrawaddy is you have to say something that's going to hook it into what's happening right now. Because when you get published in the Irrawaddy, it's a magazine, newspaper. People aren't going to read it in 3 months. I had a friend who used to work for a newspaper which had actual paper. He said, after 3 months, it becomes birdcage liner, right? It's just for the birds to poop on. Academic writing is not that way. Academic writing, you write for someone in 25 years. And that's why you don't use a nice hook about current events, about COVID, or about the coup in Burma, or something that is very current to you right now. You want to think about, when somebody in 25 years reads about what I'm writing, will they understand what I'm writing? And I don't know how many times I've told all of you and myself, yes, we start with something we see today, but for academic writing, it needs to be in depth. It's going to go into a repository. It may not be read next year. It won't even be published next year, probably, if you see all the delays. It'll be published in a year or 2 or 3. It'll be read, though, for 25 years. And you have to think, when somebody picks up this article somewhere in the world in 25 years, will they know what I'm talking about? You could talk about the different types of Pfizer versus Johnson & Johnson shots. They don't care in 25 years. The person who's reading it is not even born yet. You're going to have to explain, this was in the middle of the COVID epidemic, and we were choosing between these 3 types of vaccinations or 4 vaccinations. These are what they were. So you have to keep that person in mind when you write. This is academic writing. They're also interested in things that are grand theories, like Max Weber wrote 100 years ago about the nature of politics. The nature of politics he wrote about, his ideas, what Mon was saying, is fit today, even though they were written 100 years ago. So when you write about the people up in the mountains in the Philippines, the indigenous peoples, people are going to be thinking about indigenous peoples in 25 years. They may not be thinking about the things you were talking about with the people you interviewed, but the nature of indigenous politics is important for peace building. And that's what you need to think about. So that's about my 5 minutes, right? So I better stop there. And I always look forward to talking to students at coffee shops like Mon talked about. We can't always do coffee shops in the age of COVID, so Zoom has to do. And I can work through with your individual ideas there more easily. Heitzer was also very humble in his presentation. I have read all his papers. I know that a lot of the theoretical ideas that went into the paper where the lead author was Sarah came from Heitzer, because I've been working with him so long on working with what the Karen schools are and how the comparisons work. And I saw many of those ideas in that paper as well. There is a bureaucratic technical requirement. You need to be first author. So please insist on that when it comes up. It needs, preferably in a Scopus article, it doesn't have to be for your graduation requirement, but there is a graduation requirement. First author in a Scopus or TCI journal, Citation Index journal, and it has to be a subject that is related to your dissertation. So even with Alma, who's going to be already in a TCI journal with a NIDA article, if she doesn't write about these indigenous issues for her dissertation, it doesn't count. But she has other things in her brain, so I know there are. She has a lot of ideas, but it has to be specifically related to your dissertation topic. So those are the kind of bureaucratic things you need to pay attention to. We'll keep pushing you. You are all very capable. I don't know why Thailand has a publication requirement. They do. Other countries don't, but they're not as good as you guys are, right? So they can't help it. Thailand has higher standards, but we have students who can meet them, as you've been hearing. And we will continue to push you to do that. Is about right, Ray?
Surely, yes.
So back to you, I guess, or back to Alma.
Yeah, I have a few words. Number one, you can all finish your dissertation quickly. Like Alma and I are already writing chapters 1 and 2 this week of their dissertation. They presented chapter 1 last week with peer critique, and then they are revising it, and then they're presenting again the revision, and then proceed to first part of chapter 2. I demanded that they think way before the semester started. I told them, think about your real dissertation, because you will work on your real dissertation. We're not wasting time in the research methodology class. So she's now only on her second year, first semester, just like mine. It can be done. It's your focus. Thanks to Eto, you need to focus. What will you write on? Of a million topics you know, focus on one. And then Dr. Lee finished her dissertation in 4 months. I finished mine from January to April, 4 months. So everything, including 69 interviews. But every time I see my professor, I have to have an output. When he says, Ray, throw away your garbage, your introduction. That's not how it should be done. The people who are reading your paper are busy. I throw away, I say, can I see you tomorrow? I print. He demands a printout and email copy. No output, no talk, no meeting, waste of time. So I did that. I was working at the same time. I had a full-time job, and then I was working on my dissertation. We can all find excuses, but as they say, everyone is busy. It's a matter of priority. I said I want to finish, so I prioritized. And then my professor, this is the dead of winter. I said, can I see you? Oh, I'm busy. I have a class. Most of the doctoral classes are weekends or evening classes. So I have a class till 9. Can you see me at the parking lot? Like freezing, snowing, and then we just meet in the parking lot. I give him my output. He looks at it. Ray, I think you have to add this and remove that. Yes, sir. I say, can I see you tomorrow? I see him tomorrow. I have output tomorrow. I work 24/7. If you want to finish, you can do it. I did it 4 months. Dr. Lee did it 4 months. And I was busy as hell. I was a training coordinator for people coming from all over the world: Cyprus, Egypt, Palestine, Israel, South Korea, the Philippines. I was running programs, bringing them to fieldwork, and then dissertation. And then I was teaching. I was also teaching night classes. And then I was able to finish and publish about my dissertation before I finished my dissertation, Scopus. Okay, you can do it. I listen to my advisor. They know what they're doing. They have wisdom. They've been doing research and publication forever. Okay, if you don't believe them, you would be stuck. They're not there to antagonize you. They're there to help you. We are here to help you. That's why I say, I want to help you, but show me what you have in your mind. I will not sit down and give you my ideas. It's your dissertation, right? So give me an output. I look at it. I say, nothing is perfect. Alma and Karen always hears it, and I just present. Don't worry. We give peer critique. We help each other. Okay, so I hope that's a pep talk. Alma and I are on the second semester. They already have chapters 1 and 2, part 1 this week for their dissertation, and they're already published. First semester, it's a challenge to all the first semester students. You can do it the way they did it first semester. And we are all busy. I was busy. All of my classmates, when I was doing PhD, were busy. We didn't give that excuse. Our professor always say, when you're busy, leave it out the door. When you're in the classroom, we're talking about classwork and about your dissertation when you come. So we all are busy, but focus on what, and no one asked for excuses when I was in the US with my classmates. So you can do it, you need focus. But I know, hey, so it's difficult, you are babysitting at the same time. That's the reality, I know. That's another thing. It's real life. Now that comes in the way. Okay, so I hope that's a pep talk. Thank you.
Challenge accepted. That's our end. The end. Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.